to emphasize that we're about halfway there. We have very good results in the last 24 hours in terms of Houstonians responding and limiting their activities, with the exception of the children playing in the snow today, which it was a very special day, and got to see video, didn't get to visit with the grandkids, but today was a good day for Houstonians because they listened to the messages from our first responders and their leadership to stay at home. And our first responder numbers are much, much lower than you would expect, fairly normal, quite frankly, for fire, police. Carbon monoxide incidents are very low. Traffic accidents are low. But I can't emphasize enough that we can't become complacent. Do not let the clear skies fool you. The next 24 hours will be our most dangerous because of the melting snow will turn to ice as soon as the sun goes down. So please, Houstonians, hear me. We're halfway there. The next 24 hours are our most dangerous. We're going to continue to be diligent from the city perspective. We have the staffing in place for fire and police. Public Works is doing their part. But we have to continue to protect your pipes. Tomorrow when things thaw out, many of us will learn that our pipes are broken. So have a plan. First of all, protect them tonight by wrapping them. Continue to wrap your pipes. Open up your cabinets, your attic doors. Use the common sense and smart approach that has got us so successfully to this point. I could give so many shout outs to TxDOT, who during the night kept our medical center open, working with my team. TxDOT provided the equipment to keep 288 and into the med center, McGregor, open. It was our highest priority. TxDOT has used their equipment to keep 610, Loop, I-10, and others open. Now, there have been some incidents such as the 3 18-wheelers near Rosenberg. They were trying to meet deadlines. They had bad accidents. I saw this afternoon a jackknife 18-wheeler right behind City Hall on the Pierce Elevated, automobiles. The ice is there and it can be deceiving, covered by snow. So just assume we have icy roads wherever you want to travel. The answer to it is stay at home. I'd like to thank the employers in Houston. Most of our retail stores were closed. Our public facilities have been closed, with the exception, I'm going to talk about our warming centers because that is still probably our highest priority. But the city services closed down, municipal courts, the airport. Let's speak about the airport. TSA will start taking passengers in the morning at 9 a.m. TSA opens at 9 a.m. in the morning. Houston, Bush, and Hobby will take arrivals starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. Departures will be at 11 o'clock tomorrow. So as I said, we've got a challenge to get through this evening into tomorrow morning when icy conditions will be so bad. City will be closed tomorrow. We made the decision and contacted all of our city employees this morning. Do not come to work in the morning. Thursday will be a challenge, but Thursday we do believe we'll be open for business with the proper precautions. So, warming centers. I've been to 3 today. They're crowded, but we have capacity. We give you a ride. We'll give you a ride on Metrolift. Then Z-Trips will take you. No one is turned away from one of our facilities. 10 Houston-operated warming centers. And it is such a reminder for me, the challenges we have in this city with our homeless population. And when we get through this challenging storm, We must get back focused on the people that are so vulnerable living on our street with so much mental health challenges that we have to come together as a community and assist those that need our assistance so badly. Thank you to the county for sharing their resources, communicating with our commissioners. I can't say enough about TxDOT. Steve Alvis is a Houston resident that is on the TxDOT board. We're in constant touch with him and the State Emergency Center. But it gets back to these are the services we're providing and we're prepared for, but it gets back to Houstonians doing their part. And I cannot thank you enough. The collaboration of all the agencies and then the collaboration with the public joining us to take all the safeguards that we mentioned. So it's halftime. We got third and fourth quarters to go. We're going to be in the red zone. We've got to be very safe and smart from here on out. If we follow the precautions and the common sense we've used up to this point, we're going to look back at this storm as a challenging experience where Houston met its challenge. We're a great city, great people with challenges, and we're hitting them head on and solving them. Let me bring up a couple of department heads that have specific issues to emphasize. Public Works, Randy, if you'll come talk about the best practices for protecting your pipes and also our thoroughfares.
Thank you, Mayor. Can't emphasize enough what the mayor said. We're so grateful to Houstonians who have heeded the messages and have listened. There have been very few cars on the road, but as the mayor said, this isn't the time to be complacent about that. Can't emphasize enough the fact that the roads are slushy now, which means that in the next few hours, as the temperatures drop and the sun goes down, they will freeze. We absolutely know they're going to freeze. That's going to make travel on those thoroughfares very, very difficult overnight and in the early morning hours. We're very optimistic that with warming tomorrow that we'll start to see a lot of that clear up. The water system's done really well throughout this entire event. A big, big thanks to all of our folks at our facilities across town that have ridden out this storm. They've been sleeping on the floors. They've been monitoring the equipment. Pressures across the whole system are very good for us for a storm like this. But as the mayor mentioned, now that we get towards the end of this event, it's when we're going to start to see some impacts that you won't see during the colder temperatures. As the pipes start to thaw out, as the temperatures rise, you will discover that in some instances there are some breaks. We'll see some breaks in city pipes. You're certainly going to see some breaks in your pipes in your homes. It's not too late to still take some precautionary measures. Make sure your sprinkler systems are shut off. Most sprinkler systems have their own dedicated shutoff valve. Make sure that that's closed. Make sure you know where the shutoff valve to your home is. If you all of a sudden find that a pipe is ruptured after it's thawed out, shut it off as quickly as you can to minimize the amount of damage that's there. Of course, call 311 if you need some additional assistance in locating those things. And if you see major water breaks across the city as you start to be about your business tomorrow, be sure to call those in as well. We address those as fast as we can. But Mayor, grateful for the collaboration, especially I echo his sentiments with TxDOT and how they've helped us on the thoroughfares and making sure that there's clear paths. Our public works crews continue to stand by to provide additional support to first responders where necessary. That's our biggest priority through the rest of this event, is making sure that first responders, police and fire have clear pathways to get to the service areas they need to get to. But we're almost there. Keep up the good work, and we'll make it through it.
Thank you. Thank you for your rank and file. Our fire department is doing such an outstanding job. They will actually help us tonight. It's a first for the Houston Fire Department to get involved, that collaboration that I keep repeating. We're all in this together, all hands on deck, and now we're seeing the fire department offer an additional service. And Chief Munoz, if you'll give us the precautions we need on space heaters and give us a report on the number of carbon monoxide incidents.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, as the mayor has mentioned time and time again, and our department as well, carbon monoxide poisoning, as it is one of the deadly killers numbers are going down, but there's still that danger. We did have an incident today that involved 2 children. Fortunately, our fire department did an amazing job in taking them to a local hospital for precautionary measures, and the prognosis is good. Heaters, cause of fires. Ensure that your heaters are at a place 3 feet from any flammable areas or materials. Generators, make sure they're 20 feet from the house to ensure that no carbon monoxide is mentioned. And the mayor mentioned the transportation. We presented a plan to the mayor, and thank you for your support, Mayor, on that. For the first time ever, our HED personnel is going to be utilizing vehicles other than EMS and fire trucks to transport individuals to those warming centers. But again, that's the seriousness of the effects of the winter that we're facing. Again, encourage everyone, as the mayor has mentioned time and time again, and along with Chief Diaz and all the directors behind us, please stay off the road. But once again, safety, safety, safety. The generators know where they're at. Carbon monoxide. Definitely pay attention to your surroundings with any open flames. But thank you, Mayor. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Chief. Like at any challenging time, whether it's one of our hurricanes, loss of energy, or certainly when our mobility has been challenged, there's bad actors in our city that are taking advantage of it. But our HPD officers are using their resources, their leadership to cover our communities. I got a report early this morning that one bad actor tried to break into an ATM machine, but he didn't realize that the snow leaves his footprints everywhere he was leaving the site. So our fine first responders, HPD, tracked him to his vehicle, and he is no longer on the streets of Houston. So thank you, Houston Police, Houston Fire, EMS, Public Works, I consider a first responder. Chief Diaz, will you give us a status report on our law enforcement?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I want to thank Chief Munoz for his first partnership. We've had a great day today. Thank you, Houston, first and foremost, for heeding the warnings, listening to the messaging, because it helped us out. Our calls for service were down. Our accidents were down. For a city this large, 16,000 plus miles of roadway, we had 22 accidents throughout the whole day, mostly minor. We're doing a great job. I can't thank the men and women of the Houston Police Department enough, especially our HOT team, who touched about 300 souls over the last 2 days. And last night we were able to help at least 70 get into warming centers, and over 150 blankets, things that necessities we were given. And it was just an incredible partnership. To date, to right now, we have not had a loss of life that we've been reported yet. So we're really, really fortunate. But again, it's the Houstonians listening to the messaging. So thank you very much. Thank you for helping us help you. And thank you for helping your neighbors as well. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Talking about your outreach, the collaboration with nonprofits and all of our first responders, we've had 1,036 individuals go to a warming center. Very significant. I'd like to give a shout out to the food bank that fed them. I was in Acres Home this afternoon. People are warm and secure, but they were hungry. They'd run out of their MREs that were furnished by the state. So coming back, talking to my team, we got a hold of the food bank who took 100 meals to Acres Home this afternoon. So things are working well. As I've said, the real challenge is the next 24 hours. I would urge the press to emphasize to the public what we did the last 24 hours worked. Now let's match it the next 24 hours. At this time, I'd ask Anna in my office to come translate for our Spanish-speaking residents.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Para los miembros de la comunidad de habla hispana, el alcalde y todos los directores atrás de mí están aquí para agradecer al público por escuchar nuestras advertencias. El hecho que ustedes escucharon, se quedaron en casa, no hemos podido mantener nuestra ciudad segura, no hemos tenido ninguna pérdida de vida y ningún accidente grave. Entonces, muchísimas gracias por escucharnos y estas siguientes 24 horas serán igual de importantes porque la nieve se va a derretir, causando que las calles estén muy resbaladizas y esas son condiciones críticas para cualquier vehículo en la calle. Entonces, por favor, sigan en sus casas, si no tienen que salir, quédense ahí con sus niños porque van a estar muy, muy peligrosas las carreteras. Las temperaturas van a volver a congelarse esta noche y toda esa nieve va a crear condiciones como una pista de hielo. Los servicios de transporte público seguirán abiertos hasta las 10 de la noche. Después de eso, si necesitan ir a un centro de calentamiento, pueden hablar al 311 y alguien podrá ir a recogerlos. La ciudad estará cerrada mañana, al igual que las cortes, pero el aeropuerto volverá a abrir a partir de las 10 de la mañana aproximadamente. Nuevamente, por su seguridad y la de los demás, no salgan en sus vehículos, cuiden sus tuberías, porque si una tubería se congeló, ahora que las temperaturas están altas otra vez, se descongelan y ahí es donde ven fugas. Si tiene una fuga y no sabe qué hacer, llame al 311. Tomen también en cuenta las fuentes de calor que pueden llegar a ser peligrosas. El jefe Muñoz nos dice que han tenido alrededor de 60 llamadas acerca del monóxido de carbono, que puede ser letal. Así que por favor tengan cuidado con los calentadores, no prendan estufas ni hornos para hacer calor en su casa. Mantengan sus mascotas dentro de casa todavía, cuiden a sus vecinos, sus familiares, especialmente a los pequeños y a los de la tercera edad. Mañana a mediodía volveremos a nuestra rutina como ciudad y saldremos de esto más fuerte que antes. Gracias.
Very good. Are there any questions? Can't imagine there being any. We've covered pretty much everything that's. We didn't have a rise in first responder calls today because the public listened to our message, and we just urged them, let's go forward and the next 24 hours, which I think are the most dangerous. So thank you all for being here.
Really quick, I'm so sorry. I know there's a big emphasis on the potential for carbon monoxide.
Sure.
Danger. I know we're doing these press conferences, but how is the city really emphasizing to the residents and to the people of Houston and beyond? Please pay attention.
Well, we do the best we can. In non-crisis circumstances, we have an education program carried out by Houston Fire. When they're not making calls, they actually go into the community and businesses to talk about the precaution against carbon monoxide in generators. Obviously, we're doing everything we can during this challenging time, certainly using every language possible. So I don't know what else we could do other than make it a priority.
And this might be for Public Works, but I know we talked a little bit about pipes potentially bursting tomorrow. Is there any reason to believe that there are some waterways that should be shut down right now?
Yeah, I mean, no, we've got to operate with our water supply. It's a precaution of wrapping your pipes, open your cabinets, open the attic doors, shut off the water, as Randy mentioned, and I'll certainly let Randy speak, but he was pretty clear, know how to cut it off. Certainly if you find that you've got a ruptured pipe, you need to act quickly. And so you need to be thinking about this now. But prevention is obviously the best cause of action. Thank you.
To follow up on that, maybe Randy can give a better explanation, but
He probably could.
at what point,
Randy, give a better explanation.
at what point should citizens, start to turn the water back on, to open it? Because you mentioned the thawing, so at what point is it safe to kind of turn the water back on?
Yeah, look, so first of all, when we talk about the sprinkler systems, there's no urgency or rush to do that anytime on the ground. You're in a dormancy period anyways. We shouldn't be doing a lot of watering our lawns. That's where we see the overwhelming majority in a weather event like this. So you can let your sprinklers go for quite some time. In fact, I would say really when you start thinking in springtime about getting your lawns ready and so forth, that's when you're going to do a comprehensive check of that in the first place. To the other side about, do we need to proactively or preemptively shut anything off? The answer to that is no. The pressure systems that we see across the water utility right now are very good, very healthy. That gives us the indication right now that there's not anything abnormal going on. But what we'll find out is that tomorrow, when things start to thaw out and when there are some additional bursts, then more water will start to be taken across the system, typically to residential homes. And then where we have city issues, we'll locate those immediately and we valve those off so that we can kind of divert and make sure that we're not spilling any excess water beyond that. But we talked about it before. There's already a significant number of active water main leaks across the city, more than 1,000 of those. What does a freeze event like this do to that? It exacerbates some of those to a certain degree. As the water freezes up, it's going to stop a little bit of that flow, but not all of it. And it's going to cause some of those pipes to have additional problems. We already know where those are located, and so that's why we urge Houstonians, if you see things take place over the next few days, let us know where they are. That way we can get additional eyes on them as quickly as we can. We address those basically kind of in a triage order for us, things that are going to have critical impacts on other areas, schools, hospitals, dialysis facilities, for instance, anything that's going to impact the elderly or folks that have limited mobility. Those take our first priorities. The biggest of the leaks, if you see a geyser, for instance, going off somewhere, that's going to get a high priority. But we know we're going to have a lot of minor leaks, things that are leaking over sidewalks, directly into storm drains and gutters. We're going to get to those in due course. We've had great support from the mayor and city council in making sure that we can procure additional contractors throughout the city to come and help expedite a number of those repairs. That's something that's an ongoing process, but continues to ramp up. But the note is, it's not too late to take precautions now. There's things you can continue to do right now to make sure that you're in good shape. And tomorrow, if you see something, know what you've got to do to stop it from becoming something worse.
Should people let their faucets drip? Because you hear some contradicting information.
Yeah, we've asked people not to drip their faucets the entire time, and we think the majority of people have listened. Again, we see that as we kind of monitor what's going on in the water system itself. Pressures have been maintained pretty good. The mayor said, look, use some of that other common sense. Open the underneath of your cabinets, let warm air be there to kind of help those pipes, do what they need to do. Really, when you're dripping your faucets, that's what you're really getting to most of the time anyways, is the stuff that's most exposed. So open underneath your sinks, open your attic ways, let some warmer air get in there, and you should be in better shape.
Out of those 22 car accidents that you said were reported today,
Yes, sir.
How many were transported, like what kind of injuries? Were there any even?
There were some few minor injuries, to be exact. There was, to give you exact numbers, there were 24 were minors, the other required some sort of transport medical attention, but nothing catastrophic. So again, thank you to the community, because the messaging worked, and like the mayor said, it's not over. So please be safe, drive smart, have a plan. I think earlier the mayor said in the earlier news conference that if you do venture out and you happen to have a breakdown, have a blanket in your car, have some sort of nourishment, your cell phone charged to make sure that we can get to you so you're not stranded on a freeway for 2 or 3 hours in some really cold weather. So if you can stay off the road, please do so, because you help us, you help our first responders respond to the really priority calls, and we can just keep everything normal. Thank you.
Could you guys explain a little bit about what went into the decision to reopen the airports, the conversations with them when a lot of people are not going back to work tomorrow just because of the roads?
The airport system is in contact and works in collaboration with the carriers, United being one of our primary service vendors. TSA played a huge role in when they felt like it was safe for their employees to come in. So that's the reason it's closed today. They've all met, discussed, and they think they have a pathway to safely open tomorrow for travelers and for the employees. They've kept one runway open for emergencies such as organ transplants or other unforeseen emergencies. So things have really worked well in Houston the last 24 hours. We started preparing last Thursday, and all I'm urging today is repeat what we've done the last 24 hours, because we're going to be repeating our public service, and it's really paid off in large results. Thank y'all. We got to go to work.